Throughout February and March, the Business Journal held several roundtables with area high school students. The roundtables were held to gain a perspective on how young adults view the region as part of our Brain Gain program, which focuses on creating a culture of entrepreneurship and promoting workforce development. The panels were moderated by Business Journal content manager Jeremy Leidick. All the students were selected by the schools. This video has been slightly edited for time, but the subject matter and spirit of the discussion has not been altered. Today, 14 West Middlesex High School students discuss college, their potential careers, and how they came to their decisions.
Brain Gain is sponsored by Sweeney Chevrolet Buick GMC, the Mahoning Valley Manufacturers Coalition, and the Moransky Companies. I guess just to start off, a little bit of an icebreaker. Raise your hands. How many of you are going to college after high school? Okay. Got a couple not. Bradley, why not?
I would rather go into a trade.
Why is that?
I can make more money.
Yeah?
Because I'm not a books person.
You're not a books person?
No, I'm a more hands-on person.
What are you doing to pursue different hands-on things now, if anything?
Working on vehicles.
How long you worked on vehicles?
Basically my whole life.
Oh yeah? So you're looking to get into mechanical work?
No, electrical.
Electrical, all right. Have you reached out to any career centers? What are you doing to pursue that education?
I already talked to the electrical union and I'm going to try to get into that.
Okay.
I think next January is whenever I can submit my requests.
Okay. And do you plan to live and work local whenever you're done with your training?
As of right now, yes.
Yeah?
But the way life goes, I guess.
Sure. Okay. How about you, Caden?
Probably for the same reason. I don't, not like school. I don't really like it that much as it is. So, I like the trades. So, going to school.
What is it about school you don't like?
Just I don't know. I don't like to do the book stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
What is it about hands-on work versus books that makes hands-on work more easier for you?
It just helps me learn better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's easier for me to learn doing it than, like, reading about it or whatever.
Okay. Are there any STEM classes here at the school that you take that kind of get some experience with that?
No. Not that I do. I don't know if the school has it or not, but I go to Votech, Mercer County Curson.
Got you. Okay. And what are you doing there?
Welding.
Welding?
Mm-hmm.
Are you looking to get into welding?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you want to stay local whenever you get out of there?
Yeah, for right now.
Okay.
Don't know what the future brings.
Sure. Anything. How about you, Sarah? You didn't have your hand up. What's your plan?
Well, college was kind of a part of my plan, but then a lot changed, and I have a grass business, and I just bought a commercial company out of Pittsburgh, so that's kind of what I'm gonna do when I graduate.
You bought a company?
Yeah.
No kidding. What's the company?
It's actually under the guy's name right now, but it'll all be changed over to my name.
Okay. So you'll be the sole proprietor?
Yeah.
No kidding. Now, how did you work up the funding to purchase the company?
I took out a small loan to give him a down payment on it, and then it's kind of like a percentage that he gets the first year until it's paid off.
Okay. May I ask, how much was the down payment?
$10,000.
Okay. And how long have you been, is it like a full landscaping kind of company?
It's just grass.
Just grass?
Yeah, there's 110 yards.
Okay. How long you been doing that?
I've been cutting grass since I was 14, so it's a big difference from what I had, but...
Okay. Being an entrepreneur, is that something that's always interested you?
Yeah.
Why is that?
I like being in charge of what I do. I don't like people telling me what to do so much, but I don't know. I like doing my own thing.
How do you feel that being an entrepreneur, owning your own business, can benefit the community as opposed to just getting a job somewhere else? If at all.
I don't know. I have no idea how to answer that question.
Okay.
Honestly.
That's fine. So what are some of the other things you're doing? So if you're definitely working toward that as your goal, are there any things you're doing now to sort of prepare to be a business owner, whether it's taking management classes or anything like that?
Yeah, I go to Linden Point for a class called E-Academy. It's an entrepreneurship class where they teach you how to start a business and everything. So I do that in the afternoon.
What's something that you've learned that you never thought of before?
I don't know.
know?
That's a hard question.
What do you think the biggest challenge is going to be being a business owner?
The customers and the work and all the extra hours you have to put into it.
Okay, very cool. Luke, you were going to college?
I am going to college, yes.
Tell me why.
My family, every generation that I know of, they've been going to college. So, I mean, kind of I've wanted to go to college, and then I feel I've always been good in school. I like school, playing sports and all that, and I wanted to continue that and get a very good degree that I can use later on in life. So, yeah, pretty much how I looked at it.
What are you looking to study in?
I'm going to Grove City College to study finance for my major and minor in entrepreneurship.
Gotcha. Okay, so are you looking to start your own company too eventually?
Yeah, my dad, he's in the insurance world. He works at Gilbert's Insurance in Sharon. So, you know, there's a lot of different ways you can go with finance. You can go into the insurance world. You can work for a big corporation. It's a lot of number stuff. So, really haven't determined where I want to go with it, but just to see where life takes me here in the next 4 years.
Are you looking to start your own company right out of college, or maybe work somewhere else, get your feet wet?
Probably work somewhere else under a bigger corporation, get my feet wet, and then from there build off of what I know and what I've learned from that company and go from there.
Is finance your dream job?
I guess you could say, yeah. Finance would be my dream job.
Okay, why is that?
Like I said, I've always been a numbers guy, and then also seen my dad with the finance working. He's always been, he's a big talker like I am. I like to talk to people, socialize. He's going out with clients. He takes them to the sporting range to shoot guns. He'll take them pheasant hunting, golfing. It's a very social job, and I feel like I like making connections with people, and I love talking, socializing, so I feel like I can really pursue that and advance that really well.
Okay, so you've pretty much been college.
I've
From
never
day
had,
one.
I've never had a doubt in that.
Okay. For all the people who said they're going to college, how many of you are undecided as far as what you want to study? Cassie?
I'm undecided because I'm between doing psychology and becoming a teacher. And what's making the big difference between those is would I rather work with younger people or with older people who are more like mentally advanced. And so what I'm right now determining is if I want to become a teacher, what do I want to teach? And then with psychology, it's not as difficult to like decide what class you're going to take in college. But with a teacher, you have to determine from math, science, computers, and all that stuff. So I'm undecided between those two right now.
What are you leaning toward?
Teacher. I've job shadowed down at Mercer. I job shadowed last week at Mercer, and it was a really great experience. So I'm leaning more towards teacher at this moment.
Which one was like the first? Which one was the dream job?
Psychology.
Why's that?
It's just been something that interests me because I like talking to people and I like helping people through their problems. And in my house, I'm kind of like the person that you go to for help. So it was just one of those things that just really stuck out to me.
So why did you decide to shift toward teaching?
Because last year when I was in Algebra 1 last year, and throughout the entire year, people would come to me for help with their stuff, and I realized that I really had a knack for helping people with the problems that they're facing in the subject.
Okay, got you. A little bit less education required to be a teacher than to be a psychologist, I imagine, right?
I haven't really looked that far into it, but I would assume so because with psychology you have to get, I'm assuming, a degree in sociology and psychology before you can.
Right. Okay. Does that factor in at all to your decision when you can actually jump into the workforce?
I would like to get a little bit more education before I jump in because I don't want to just jump into something and not know what I'm doing.
Gotcha. Okay. Dennis, were you a little bit undecided too?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
I want to do something with computers or own my own business.
Want to do something with computers or own your own business, or why can't you do both?
I don't know. I feel like it'd be too much work.
Too much work? So what inspires you now? What's your aspirational goal?
Really, nothing yet.
Nothing yet.
Just waiting for the future to happen.
Waiting for it to happen?
Blow me in the direction it wants to go.
Okay, well, it could blow you some pretty unsavory directions, man.
Hey, just the way of the road.
So are you looking to get into college right out of high school, or are you going to take a
Yes.
break?
Right out of high school.
Right out of high school. Okay. So you're willing to just jump into student loans and all that stuff without really having much of a direction at this point?
Well, I hope by that time I'll have a direction. But
What are you doing to find a direction?
I'm talking to teachers.
Talking to teachers? So what are you hearing? What are you learning?
That it's going to be easier to work with computers, but more of a risk to own your own business, but it could have more of a payoff.
It could. So what kind of work do you want to do with computers?
I don't know yet.
No? Do you feel you need to go to college to get the education you need to do the work that you might want to do?
No.
No? Have you considered some of the different trade schools, career centers, tech schools?
I've considered, but I feel college would be my best bet.
Okay, where are you thinking of going?
I don't know yet.
Don't know yet? Okay. Who else they know exactly where they want to go and what they want to do? Crystal? Krista, sorry.
I want to go to Coastal Carolina University and study marine science.
Oh, wow. Why that?
I've always had an interest in science, and I've gone through so many different types of scientists I wanted to be. But then one day I sat down, and I was like, I really like animals, and I think the ocean is really cool. So it's like I can be a marine biologist and study the animals in the ocean.
Mm-hmm. So there's definitely not a whole lot of chance of keeping you working local then, I take
No.
it. Okay. Is this like the dream job?
Yeah, I've wanted to be a marine biologist since I was in 6th grade.
Okay. What was the sort of come to Jesus moment like, yep, that's what I want to do?
It just kind of came in my mind one day, and I was like, that sounds really cool. That sounds like a lot of fun. I can move by the beach.
Mm-hmm. So what sort of things are you doing now to prepare for that transition?
I've taken a lot of science courses and math courses, and I did a trainer for a day at an aquarium over the summer and got to work with dolphins and sea lions and just like that kind of marine life.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized I really liked it when I went and did that. So I knew it was going to be the right path for me.
Okay. Now, so you're definitely going to be going out of state
Yeah.
to learn, and it's science, so it's probably going to be, is that definitely a 4-year degree, or is that more?
If I want to do research, it's going to be a PhD, which is what I want to do. So I'm going to be
Gotcha.
in college for a really long time.
Sure. And how does that factor into, I mean, is that a dissuade, are you worried about that at all, or being in college for that long?
I'm not really worried about it because when I'm getting my graduate and PhD, that's just going to be research.
Mm-hmm.
It's just working to get that title and what I'm going to keep doing after I get that title.
Okay. What are you thinking about finances?
I'm hoping that I'll get research grants from my graduate and PhD so they pay me to go and do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to have to pay for my bachelor's.
How are you going to do that?
Scholarships. I'm doing my bachelor's in 3 years because I'm going to be in an accelerated program. So it's going to be a little bit cheaper than going for 4 years.
Okay. Are you taking college classes now to
Yeah.
build up credits, are you?
Mhm.
Okay. And about how many credits do you think you're going to have by the time you graduate high school?
11.
11 credits?
Mhm.
Okay. Very cool. Are you looking at student loans, anything like that?
I haven't looked at that stuff yet.
No? Are you a sophomore now or junior?
I'm a senior.
You're a senior. I thought I put all my seniors over here. Sorry. Okay. So, who have you been talking to about finances? Have you been talking to guidance counselors here, parents,
Yeah, I'm
anything like that?
talking to a guidance counselor and our one computer teacher, Mrs. Belts. She talks a lot about it.
Okay. Got you. Are you concerned about the price tag to get those degrees?
A little bit, but I know once I get through all my school, it'll end up paying off and being worth it.
Okay. Who's concerned about the finances of college? Drake.
I think it's a big risk. It's 4 years of your life that you're paying for, and if you get a degree that's not worth it, you just wasted 4 years of a lot of money.
Mhm.
It's a big risk.
And does that risk make you reconsider college, or are you still steadfast?
I think I like school. I work hard in school, so I definitely think I'm gonna go to college. But I'm I'm worried.
Mhm. What are you looking to major in?
Economics, and then probably go to law school after.
Okay, from a bachelor degree and then a Juris Doctorate. Okay, so that's a lot of schooling.
Yeah, it's 7 years of my life that I'm paying for. It's gonna be expensive. So.
Sure. And are you putting any thought or any planning into financing that stuff right now?
Yeah, I'm trying to get some scholarship stuff, and I work in the summer to start saving up for college.
Okay. What do you do for a job?
I cut grass a lot.
Possible employer right there. How about you, Zoe?
College is definitely steadfast where I'm at, but the cost is always a concern because, like Drake said, it's 4 years of your life that you are paying for, and if it doesn't pay out, then you have tens of thousands of dollars worth of debt that you have to pay off, and you don't have a degree that can support it.
So how do you put yourself in a position where when you graduate, this degree is going to get me a job?
I think it all depends on your research, even geographically where you live, because like Krista couldn't get a job here with what she wants to do, so you have to pick and choose what you want. You have to prioritize what you need, whether you want to stay here and have a family, or you are steadfast on your job and that's what you want to do. It really depends on everybody's opinions.
So what do you want to do?
I'm looking to go into business, something in there.
Okay.
I can talk to people, and I'm horrible at science and stuff, so it's definitely where I'm at.
So what's important to you, where you're at or what you're doing?
I think it's important to be where your feet are, no matter where you are. You have to do research for the future, but you have to be where you're at. But for college, I think I know the moment you probably step into your freshman year, everything your guidance counselors and teachers tell you is prepare for college and prepare for your future, no matter if it's a trade or college. All I've heard my entire life being in here is do this for college. Got to get your college to graduate. Got to get your degree to get a good life. That's how I was raised. I've always been going to college. There was no decision on that.
So are you staying local then, or are you splitting?
I couldn't really see myself moving too far away. I'm too dependent on my family and friends to move halfway across the country. I could see myself staying local.
Okay, gotcha. Cody, were you a college guy or a trades guy? Trades guy. So when you hear Zoe say, like the school really pushes college, do you feel that you're being encouraged to pursue the trades? Is it like an equal encouragement?
Yeah, the school just wants to help you to get whatever you want to do. The school tries to help you do that, and the school's been very helpful with me going. I go to Votech for diesel mechanics, and they've been very helpful with that. So
good.
I think that they help you with whatever you want to do.
How long have you been doing diesel mechanics?
This is my first year, but I'm a sophomore, so I can either stay in there for an extra year or I could do a co-op or whatever. So I'm set up pretty well.
Okay. And when you say the school has done a good job of supporting what you want to do, what are some of the programs or resources that have been available to you to help you, fast track to what you want to do?
Well, we had shop class last year. That's kind of when I decided I wanted to be a welder, but I just decided I want to be a diesel mechanic in between there, just because I like motors and that's what I want to work on. So.
And when you hear your classmates talk about the cost of college, you think you made the right call?
I do think I made the right call.
Yeah.
Because it's no cost to me to go to Votech, and once I get out of there, I have a degree in diesel mechanics, so I can go straight to work. So, and it's a pretty good paying job. So.
Okay. Bradley, you feel the same way?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys feel that you've had enough encouragement getting where you want to be?
Yeah. I think the option of job shadows for a senior project, I guess, has helped because you get to go job shadow what you want to do, and it gets you it lets you see what you're actually going to be doing in your job if you want to do that for the rest of your life or not.
Sure. What sort of jobs have you shadowed?
Job shadowed a machinist and a welder down at T. Bruce Campbell, and a diesel mechanic down at Bears Trucking.
Okay. How about you, Gabe?
Same thing. I like that they offered us the job shadows this year, because like he said, it lets you see what all is going on instead of the 60 hours of community service that really has nothing to do with what you want to do. But I job shadowed a welder down at T. Bruce, and went to waste management down in Wheatland to see what a city job is like.
Okay. And what do you think about the city work?
It's nice. They offer a lot of good benefits and stuff, and like the hours are steady. Like you have a set time. Like you don't stay over or anything like that for a long period of time.
Okay. What about your family, your parents? How do they feel about you saying no to college and I'm going into the trades?
Well, my dad, he works in a mill, so he's all for it. He went, he was thinking about going to college too when he was in high school, and then he didn't, so he just went into a mill. He thought it was a good idea for me to go into a trade because it's a lot of money to go to college, and like everybody else is saying, most of the time it doesn't pay off because you're so far into debt that it's hard to pay it back.
I'm still paying. So, what about your mom? Feel the same way?
Yeah, she doesn't really mind what I do as long as it's like what I want to do, and then I'll be able to support myself and my family.
Gotcha. Cody, you're getting the same kind of encouragement from your family?
Yeah, both my parents think it's good that I'm doing something, so.
Good. Okay. Yeah, people over here that I haven't even been able to see yet. Kai, what are you up to?
I'm going to either Duquesne or Texas A&M for nursing, and then going to med school.
Okay. So you want to get into nursing and then med school?
Yeah. So,
why nursing and med school?
so I want to go to nursing so I have a background on what I'm going to learn, and I have a job into UPMC, and then I want to go to med school for pediatrics and then specialize in school for oncology.
Okay. And has it always been sort of the dream job?
Oh, absolutely.
Why is that?
I have a thing with kids. I love children, and that's what I want to do with the rest of my life because, like, that's what I love. So why not do something you love? And my initial plan was to get into pediatrics and then go over to Africa and help with the children there. But life's taken me on a different role, and I've met some people that, I don't know, I just couldn't leave behind here.
Now, some community colleges do have nursing programs because to get into pediatrics, you're going to be looking at a lot of school.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of debt.
Yeah, there's like 13 years I have to do for my full degrees.
13 years?
Yeah, 13.
How are you going to pay for that?
I don't know. I don't know. I just know my family's behind me 100%, and that's helping a lot because they say no matter what you do, we've got your back, and we're going to push you through it. And if you say you're going to do it and you think you're going to do it, then we're going to tell you that's what you're doing, and we're going to keep you in and keep your head above the water.
So who are you talking to now to sort of prepare for that transition, whether maybe it's a job shadow experience or thinking about financing?
So I've talked to Dr. Chopka. He is a local pediatrician. And he's told me actually if I have like over 1,200 on my SATs, go straight into med school. Don't even mess with my bachelor's, just full force, go into med school, put my head right there, and that's what I want to do. But I've talked to a few, like Clemson, their advisor there. I talked to her, and she told me that to not necessarily go straight into med school, to first get your feet set, and then like tiptoe into it and further my education, and then be like, okay, if I don't want to do that, I have all these other paths I could take.
Which path do you think you're going to take?
The pediatrics.
I mean, like, are you going straight into med school or are you tiptoeing in?
No. I want to go for my bachelor's and then further on.
Has community college ever been a consideration to maybe kind of defray some of the cost a little bit?
It has, but I don't know. I just like the idea of having 4 years under my belt rather than 2, in my opinion.
Got you. What about you, Connor?
I'm looking into a trade like an electrician.
Oh, okay. And what are you doing now to kind of pursue that?
I just kind of learn as much as I can, like doing odd jobs, stuff like that. Take shop, different classes, see what I like.
Are you looking to stay local?
Yeah. It's hard to tell. This like state like jobs that are open, because PA for an electrician, it's not a. It's a big. They have a lot of opportunities, but like it's better down different states. So, all depends.
What do you do to research those job opportunities?
Just seeing like schooling and like requirements for certain unions or different job offers down there. So like what schooling I need or stuff like that.
Okay. So, show of hands, who is considering like putting in the research into what kind of jobs are going to be available after college? Caden, let's start with you.
We have a class here. It's careers. It's a unified block. We are. It's mandatory for us to take, and it's a lot of research on like what we want to do after high school and like what jobs are open and what is going to be available in the next 5 years, 10 years.
Okay. How about you, Drake?
Same as Caden, and I've kind of done some of my own research on what I want to do.
Okay.
And the jobs that are available, and I think definitely business, it's a broad degree, and then law is definitely.
Okay, very good. Colby, we haven't heard from you yet.
The same as those two. I think Miss Belts really pushes the research on what would happen and like how many jobs would be available in your field. So I just think that class really helps.
What sort of job are you looking to get into?
Engineering.
Engineering? Any particular discipline in engineering?
Not quite yet. Still looking.
Still looking? What kind of interests you, just off the top of your head, surface level?
Really everything. I just kind of like being hands-on, and just anything that I can do myself, I'm really into.
Okay. So are there, and I asked this question earlier, but are there STEM opportunities to get hands-on with projects in the school? Tell me about something you've done.
They just added a new engineering class this year.
Okay.
And we've had different people come in, and we've went on a trip already to Carnegie, learning about different businesses. And I think that class really helped so far.
Okay.
For STEAM, they have in 8th grade you can do a STEAM class. And that was not something that was offered to us, but the kids who are in that grade right now are enjoying that class. Last year we did it during our free period, and we learned how to use several things that helped us, like know how to work electronics. Like we used the makey-makeys, we worked connects to learn how to build stuff. We also did upcycling to learn how to recycle what we didn't think would be useful.
What do you think about that type of education?
It wasn't my thing to say. I didn't enjoy it as much as everybody else did, but I was good at it. And the people who did enjoy it, they wanted to keep doing it, and they just they thought about what they would want to do with their life with the STEAM that they had learned. So with the electronics, with the makey-makey, they learned how to put electronics together, work with computers, and that was a really good opportunity for people who would want to work with STEAM in the future.
Okay. Who else worked with that STEAM stuff? Colby?
I also wasn't very into it. I just really wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
I felt like it was more of toys than actual stuff that I was into. But I still think a lot of kids were interested in it, and it could help them.
Dennis, you feel the same way?
Yeah.
Yeah?
We were just forced into it and should have had the choice of not being able to do it. Didn't really help us that much.
Okay.
I agree with that statement because I was losing my free period to do that, and that was really affecting me because I would come in and I would miss a day of school and I couldn't go and get my makeup work, which is what I would use my free period for. I couldn't go get the work that I was missing in my other classes and make it up because I was forced to do the STEAM.
Gotcha.
So it was really putting a damper into my grades, but I brought it back and I emailed the Miss Claire about it, and she said she would work around that and she would give it an option. So now there's a class for it.
Oh, okay. Does everyone kind of feel that same way, that it should have been an option?
That wasn't implemented when we were in junior high. It was just a thing that they finally happened. Yeah, they just started that. So
I
when we
see.
were all in junior high, that wasn't a thing.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Yes.
Academic growth.
Academic growth. Yep.
So, I'm having a little bit of trouble following that. So, Is it implemented now? I mean, is it, so it's definitely a class?
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
freshmen over there. Yeah.
Okay.
Freshmen, seniors, and juniors.
All right, so I completely got myself twisted around. I apologize. All right, so Mercer, we haven't heard from you yet.
No.
Did you take part in the STEAM stuff?
No, I didn't.
No.
But I am a part of like a computer class, which is kind of like what they're doing, I guess. But no, I
Okay.
didn't take part of it.
What do you think about not having the opportunity to take a part in STEAM stuff?
That, I mean, for me, it wouldn't have benefited me. That's not what I want to do with my life.
Mhm.
But for the kids who don't really know what they want to do, it's an opportunity to get their feet wet in different things so that when they, become freshmen, sophomore, juniors, they can kind of figure out what they want to do. Because I know the career I wanted my freshman year is not the career I'm going to go into now. So I feel like it gives them an opportunity.
What did you want to go to in your freshman year?
I wanted to do a physics major and then become a nuclear engineer, which is what my uncle does, and he works for the government, which is, I want to work for the government now, but I just don't want to do that.
So what do you want to do now?
I'm either going to do political science or public leadership, public policy and leadership, which that just happened this weekend while I was visiting the University of Mississippi. But I want to do the pre-law track, so.
What inspired that this weekend?
Well, I am a twirler, so I was down there for just a visit. And they had a great public policy program, and they do a lot of nonprofits with it. And the job opportunities, and I know it's not local, but the job opportunities in Mississippi are really great with that major. And a lot of students in that program go into law.
So you're thinking that you're going to be working down in that area?
I don't know. It's all going to depend. I'm either going to Mississippi or Michigan, so it's like I said, it's all going to depend. If I end up going to Michigan State, then I'm going to do political science, and I'll probably work somewhere because I'll go to East Lansing with Lansing as the capital. So I'll probably either work there or move back home. It's all going to depend on where I'm at after 7 years of school. So
Sure. So how are you thinking about paying for 7 years of school?
a lot of scholarships, definitely. Obviously a lot of kids have the opportunity to have their parents pay for it, but my parents aren't. They're not like gung-ho on paying for my school because they want me to learn how to do that on my own. So, definitely a lot of scholarship money, as much as I can get, and loans and stuff like that.
How much of an obstacle was finances to get you to where you want to be?
I think for everyone it's an obstacle. It's just how you handle it, I guess. But I think, it's a big obstacle, and a lot of things that I learned this weekend that I didn't know was, your test score can give you a lot of merit scholarship, which I didn't know that. Like, I feel like I should have known that, but I didn't. And, I just kind of realized I should have taken my ACT and my SAT more because I could have gotten more money. But, I think it all depends on where you lie in scholarship and how your parents are going to handle it.
That sort of knowledge of, the ACT and SAT score and how important that is toward your scholarships, is that something that you knew ahead of time, or you're just kind of learning it after the fact?
I was just kind of learning it after the fact. I was a little late to the game on taking my ACT and SAT. I knew I wanted to go to college, but just overall, I didn't do as well as I wanted to do on, with my score. So then I had to retake it the beginning of my senior year, which is like super stressful because I'm applying to all these schools. So it's like, oh my gosh, like your whole world's collapsing in front of you because you don't want to get a bad score. So I think, that it really does affect it, and I really didn't know that till this year.
Luke, did you know that?
I did know that. I started taking my SAT and ACT my freshman year. And I mean, a lot of people say that may be a little early. You're not as advanced in schooling yet, but it at least got my feet wet to know, like, okay, holy crap, this is what's on these tests. This is what I can expect for times to come. And yeah, I was done with my testing by the end of junior year. And by senior year, I had those high scores that I needed. And it kind of saved me that stress of being like, holy crap, I got to take this test again senior year before I can apply and give a college that score that I want them to see, instead of that kind of first score that sometimes isn't always that best score that you want.
Sure. Okay. How's everyone doing with those tests? Has everyone taken the ACT, SAT at this point? No? Christy, you have? How did you prepare for it?
I had a couple books to help me study for them.
Mm-hmm.
But originally, I took the SAT for the first time when I was a junior, and I got the score I needed to get into the college I wanted to at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But then a couple months ago, I changed where I wanted to go to college. because I realized I'd get a better opportunity. So then in December, I had to hurry up and take my SAT and ACT and get a higher score to get into an accelerated program and get into that college.
Well, there's a couple of things that I still want to focus on. I know we're running out of time, but to stay in the area and work in the area, how many of you are thinking you might want to split? Well, I know, Krista, you have to. Luke, you're thinking about splitting. Why?
So a lot of people, all of you guys know it. I originally grew up in Georgia. I moved up here in 2nd grade.
Okay.
My dad at Grove City College, his first job was with Westfield Insurance, and they sent him to the Atlanta branch. So I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia. And kind of, I guess, coming back up here to where our family's at, and him getting the job with Gilbert's, he kind of showed me, don't be afraid to move around where your job takes you or where you get an offer. And I've kind of taken that to heart, and so I've never really been afraid to move somewhere different if there's a good job offer, kind of get away from different communities that I grew up in. Because, I mean, both my parents, my mom grew up in Pittsburgh, dad grew up in Maplewood, and they moved 14 hours away to Atlanta, Georgia. So for me, I definitely, I would love to go back south. I loved living down there. Just it depends on the offers that are put at the table by the end of college.
What would it take to get you to stay?
Really, right now, as I look at it, probably family. Seeing that also as a young kid, you're 14 hours away from grandma, grandpa. You don't really get to see them much. You don't get to have those Christmases together and all that. So seeing that definitely would keep me around this area. And then at the same time, maybe us kids, I have 2 sisters, maybe us kids do go south and parents follow us. It's just, there's a lot of factors to put into the future that I'm really unsure about.
Marissa, what would it take to get you to stay, work locally?
I think it's all going to depend on where I'm at in the future. I want to twirl in college, which is like a huge part of my life right now. So that's why I'm going so far away. But at one point, I kind of want to work for the government or like Disney or some big corporation. So, I think it's going to take a lot, but like, it's going to depend on where I'm at in life. But
okay. Connor, you had your hand raised too, right?
Yeah.
What would it take to get you to stay?
Well, like just a bunch of different job opportunities. There's different pays, so like I said in PA, there's not a lot of high-paying electrician jobs. So moving south would definitely be an option. So.
Okay. Kaya?
It would depend on where I am with people. At that time, I'm really into looking at Texas. That's where I want to go. That's where I've always wanted to go. I have family down there, so I mean, it's not like I'm totally leaving my entire family behind, but it would be a big change for me to go down. But I like the weather down there. I like being warm. I hate the cold. So that's a factor. And job outlook. They have a better job outlook down in Texas than they do up here.
Okay. Who has thoughts on what it would take to get them to stay?
Probably just, I've always wanted to move down south, and looking at the jobs, they pay better down there, like for what I want to do. But I don't like the cold either. But what would make me stay is if a job, like probably the jobs, just if I can settle down here and not have problems financially, then I'll probably do that, because family is, I grew up, like my parents are like, your family's the only people who are going to be there for you and stuff, so I always grew up with them, and it's hard to leave them. Like when I go places for, like with friends and stuff, and it's you miss them, but it's not like a big deal, because they're there, and like they can come visit and stuff, but family would be the hardest part to leave.
Is it important to you to have your family close by?
Yeah. Or at least that they're supporting you.
Everyone feel pretty much the same way?
That's the reason. I think I was the only one that didn't raise my hand about wanting to leave. That's the reason I don't want to go.
Yeah. Okay.
They're my biggest support system, so me moving away on my own, I don't know if I'd be able to do it without them. Because, I mean, like, I'm very independent and everything, but, like, I need to be able to come home whenever I need to. Because no matter what, I think it's your family's more important than whatever job you have.
Who is leaving no matter what? Frigate family. Well, Krista, we know, yeah, you got to be out by an ocean. Does it hurt you that you're probably going to have to leave your family behind to go get a job?
It does hurt me a little bit, but both of my brothers, I have one that lives in Texas, one that lives in California, and my stepbrother lives in Florida, and they've all been able to do it, and they've all been like, they've been okay with it, and they do come home sometimes, or we go and visit them, and they've been like pretty good about it, so
Okay.
I feel like this is one of those towns that you always kind of come back to. We all say we want to leave, and we love saying that, but in the end, we hate seeing that we all stay here. Because, I mean, show of hands, most of our parents went to school around Mercer County.
Yeah.
Pretty much all of our parents did. So it's, yeah, exactly. I mean, a majority of the school here, our parents were in this area growing up, and here we are. I mean, for sure there's that outlier every once in a while, but I mean, like we said, we're all saying we want to leave, but in reality, I don't know. Because, I mean, my parents lived in Atlanta for 20 years, but look where we're at. They said we're never moving back. Never say never. Here we are, back at the same place we started. So,
if you ended up living and working in this area, how would you feel about that?
I really wouldn't be against it. I mean, I've loved growing up here, and I feel like we get in our minds that we want to go somewhere different, get away from the so-called bad Pennsylvania weather or all that stuff. And I mean, I wouldn't be against staying here and all that, but it's just, I feel like that's the reality of life.
Okay. So we got a few more minutes, so I'm going to open up the floor. Dennis, what do you want to say, man?
The main reason why I want to leave is my whole family has lived around here, and mainly none of them have went to college or had the experience to. So I want to be like different from all of them and go my own path.
Would you be a first-generation college student?
Well, my mom went for a little bit, but she moved around a lot because my grandpa was in the Air Force, so it didn't really stick.
So what kind of pressure is that putting on you to be essentially a first-generation, at the very least, first-generation bachelor's degree student?
I feel like it's putting a lot of pressure on me because, well, not as much as that much because my brother went to college. He just graduated not too long ago. But he went to a local college, so I want to move out and experience different things than West Middlesex. 'Cause I don't really travel a lot, so that's a big thing I want to do.
Okay. So I'm going to open up the floor to you guys real quick, because we just got a few more minutes. What am I not asking? Like, you have the floor. You know, we're going to be writing stories. We got these video cameras. Everyone's going to get a chance to hear what you have to say. What's one thing that you would tell people my age and older, you got to know this?
It's not necessarily that you gotta know this, but one reason I want to go away is because I want to make something for my name other than what my parents have made for my name. Like, I want to branch off. I don't want to be known for my last name, more or less. Like, I don't want to be, well, I do, but like, I want to be able to have a clean slate and create something just for myself, so people aren't like, oh, your dad owns that business and this business and that business. And I'm like, yeah, what about me? Like, you're talking to me, we're not talking about my parents.
You guys all feel the same way about being able to establish yourself?
I think there's a lot of pressure on us, whether it's like you're a first generation college student or your parents went to college and did really well for themselves. I would hate to see myself go off to college and not exceed even what my parents did. I feel like there's always that expectation to get out and do for yourself rather than just lean on someone else.
Brain Gained is sponsored by Sweeney Chevrolet Buick GMC, the Mahoning Valley Manufacturers Coalition, and the Moransky Companies.